Hey, what's up, guys? This week I wanted to go over a few things with you and then go ahead and talk about our simple machines and compound machines. Hopefully, give you a better idea of some of this stuff if you need it. Yeah, let's go ahead. So, obviously, there's no school Monday this week. Tuesday, you guys are going to watch a compound machines video on Puzzle, go through it, answer the questions. Last week you did simple machines. This week you'll do compound machines. Wednesday, there's a simple and compound machines assignment where you go through and you look at the types of simple machines and you describe it and how it works. And then you'll give a couple of examples, like you'll paste some images of examples and then label it like if it's a pulley, you'll put pulley. Like if it's a wheel and axle and your example is a doorknob, you'll put doorknob. So you're just going to tell me what it is and then give me a picture of what it is. And at the bottom, it asks you to do the same thing for a compound machine. So you're going to tell me what a compound machine is, and then give me some examples of compound machines. Like scissors, for example, are a compound machine because it's two levers working together to make an item, and that item is scissors. And it also has wedges, which are inclined planes. So it's levers and wedges, and all together, compound machine is what it is. And your example would be scissors in that case. So that's Wednesday's assignment. Thursday/Friday, I'm just giving you the rest of the week to make sure you finish last week's assignment where you created your own compound machine. Don't forget, you're going to design it. It has to have at least one of each simple machines in it. So one pulley, one lever, one wheel and axle, one inclined plane, one wedge, one screw. You're going to draw it out, label it, color it, take a picture of it. In the Google Doc, you're going to write a paragraph describing everything about it. What's the purpose of each simple machine in your compound machine? What's the purpose of the machine as a whole? Give it a name, and then you're going to paste that picture you took of your diagram, paste it in there, and that's going to be 100% due Sunday evening. So that means you've had 2 full weeks to work on it. But yeah, that's just an overview of what's expected for the week. But what I want to do is take a minute here and talk about simple and compound machines. So to give you a better idea if you need it. Okay, so let's talk about simple and compound machines. So what are the 6 simple machines? Hopefully at this point you know that the 6 simple machines are a lever, pulley, wheel and axle, inclined plane, wedge, and a screw. Okay, now these are divided into 2 families. We have the lever family and the inclined plane family. So a lever, a pulley, and a wheel and axle counts as members of the lever family, and an inclined plane, a wedge, and a screw count as members of the inclined plane family. Okay. Now, the 2 principal parts of all levers, you have the rigid arm and then the fulcrum. The fulcrum is that little thing, when you think of like a seesaw, it's that thing in the middle that the lever pivots on. So you have the arm and the fulcrum. And there are 3 classes of levers. Now, if you look at this picture here, you have a first-class lever, a second-class lever, and a third-class lever. And the difference is where the fulcrum is placed and where the input and output forces are placed. A first-class lever has a fulcrum between the points of forces. So the input force on one side, output force on the other. You put force down on this lever, and it's going to go up on the other side, and the fulcrum's in the middle. So if it looks like a seesaw kind of a thing, that's a first-class lever. Now, second-class lever, the fulcrum is at one end of the arm, and the input force is applied to one end, and the output force is going in the same direction on a different end. If you think of something like a wheelbarrow, this would be a second-class lever. He lifts it up, and it moves up. Now, a third-class lever, this multiplies distance instead of force. And as a result, there's more mechanical advantage, which we'll talk about that another time. The human body has many third-class levers. So think of something like lifting weights. Your arm would be a third-class lever. The fulcrum, think of it as your shoulder. The input force is coming from the area of around your elbow, and you're lifting the weight around your hand. So This multiplies distance instead of force. That's the part to remember. But typically, you're going to be thinking of first-class levers. So that's the three classes of levers. Now, a pulley is a modified lever, basically. The point in the middle of a pulley is like a fulcrum, and the rest of the pulley is like the arm on a first-class lever. Now, a wheel and axle is also a lever or a pulley connected to some kind of a shaft. Think of something moving around a certain axis, a screwdriver, a crank. These are all wheel and axles. Obviously, wheels, the wheels of a car, a steering wheel, bike wheels, skateboard wheels, doorknobs, anything that moves around an axis, that is a wheel and axle. Okay. Now, the inclined plane family, when you use an inclined plane, forces are changed. So pushing an object up an inclined plane requires less force than if you're just going to lift it up. So they reduce input force, which is a great thing. It's very helpful. That's why it's easier to walk something up a ramp or up some stairs than it will be to try to climb and carry something. Okay, now a wedge is a modified inclined plane, and it is typically, when you think of like a blade or something, it's used to split things apart. Now, a screw is an inclined plane wrapped around a cylinder. You can see in this image here, it's like they pulled off the inclined plane, but an inclined plane wrapped around a cylinder, that's what a screw is. That's why it's part of the inclined plane family. And then finally, a compound machine, when you have more than one simple machine put together to make one thing, that's a compound machine. A pair of scissors is a compound machine because it has two first-class levers joined to the fulcrum. Each lever arm has a wedge, and the wedge is like the blade that can cut the paper. So any machine that's made of more than one simple machine, that's a compound machine. So most of the machines you think of in your everyday life, your car, a bicycle, those are all going to be compound machines. If it's not one single simple machine, it's a compound machine. All right. This information is helpful for your assignments from last week and this week, so use it as you need it. Make sure you complete all those assignments. Please email me if you need help. Send me a Google Hangouts chat if you need help. Or ask me if you want to Zoom together. Speaking of that, there's no Zoom this week, no formal Zoom. But if you need a Zoom, let me know. We'll make a Zoom happen. We will one-on-one talk about some stuff if you need it. But otherwise, have a great week. Good luck with the assignments, and let me know if you need any help.